Project Sunshine was a program that began back in 1953 to study the effects of nuclear radiation on human tissue. The Energy Commission was interested in the effect of radioactive isotopes on human tissue, the effects of strontium-90 on young human tissue, to be more specific. In 1955, Energy Commissioner Willard Libby said that there was a real shortage of data on the effect of radiation on the human body. Willard Libby was born in Grand Valley, Colorado, December 17, 1908. He enrolled at the University of California at Berkeley in 1927, where he received his bachelor's and doctorate degrees in 1931 and 1933, respectively. In 1933, he accepted an appointment at Berkeley as an instructor in the chemistry department. Over the next 8 years, Libby was promoted to assistant and then associate professor of chemistry. A physical chemist, Libby developed specialties in radiochemistry, particularly hot atom chemistry and tracer techniques. In 1940, Libby married Leonore Hickley, and they had twin daughters. In 1941, Libby was awarded a Guggenheim Memorial Foundation Fellowship and elected to work at Princeton University. In December of that year, however, the fellowship was interrupted as the U.S. entered World War II. Libby then went to Columbia University to work on the Manhattan District Project, a program created to develop the atomic bomb. In 1945, after the war ended, Libby became a professor at the Institute for Nuclear Studies, now the Enrico Fermi Institute for Nuclear Studies of Chicago University. There, in 1947, Libby first proposed his radiocarbon dating theories. Soon after, he presented evidence of its viability. Radiocarbon dating, also known as carbon-14 or C14 dating, is based on the principle that all living things are mostly made of carbon. The method of dating lies in trying to determine how much carbon-14 is present in the artifact and comparing it to levels currently present in the atmosphere. In 1954, Libby was appointed by President Eisenhower as a member of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. This appointment was renewed for a further 5-year term in 1956, but Libby resigned from it in 1959 to become a professor of chemistry at the University of California, Los Angeles. In 1962, UCLA appointed him director of the Institute of Geophysics and Planetary Physics. In the same year, he became the founding director of UCLA's Space Physics Center. Later, he became director of the Douglas Aircraft Academy, now part of the Boeing Corporation, and a member of the National Science Foundation's General Commission on Science. Willard Libby was honored with the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1960 for his radiocarbon dating method. During the course of his career, he also received a number of other awards, including the American Chemical Society Award for Nuclear Applications in Chemistry in 1956, the Elliott Cresson Medal of the Franklin Institute in 1957, the American Chemical Society's Willard Gibbs Medal Award in 1958, the Albert Einstein Award in 1959, and the Day Medal of the Geological Society of America in 1961. Libby died on September 8, 1980, in Los Angeles, California. Libby is quoted as saying, "I don't know how to get them," meaning human tissue samples, "but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group. So human samples are often of prime importance, and if anyone knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving our country." I don't know what feelings that this brings up in you, but personally, I find this statement extremely troubling, to say the least. What sort of service to your country should ever involve what is essentially grave robbing or body snatching? Willard Libby's quote is nothing short of psychotic, in my opinion. There really are no circumstances in which we would ever find ourselves in as a country to justify the actions I'm about to describe to you. Of the 1,500 samples that were collected, there were approximately 500 which were used in active studies. The samples were taken from cadavers of children and babies from several different countries across Europe, Australia, and the United States. Many of these cadavers were taken with the consent of the parents, but many others were not. The Energy Commission hired a large law firm to research the laws which were related to body snatching. In other words, the U.S. taxpayers paid for the government to ensure that body snatching was technically legal. We also paid for the body snatching that was continued because of their research. We can only speculate on how long the program ran for exactly and how many samples were taken without consent or knowledge. But in 1995, President Bill Clinton set up a presidential advisory committee on the human radiation experiments to look into the possible, unethical, and illegal activities of the Energy Commission. They found that many of the individuals working on the project knew of the legal and ethical issues with their work. The Australian Minister of Health, Michael Woolridge's spokesperson, said, quote, "We need to verify if Australian babies were used in this manner, how many, and from where they came." In 1957, Jean Pritchard, a British mother of a stillborn baby, was forbidden from seeing or dressing her child for burial at a British hospital. The baby's legs were removed without her knowledge or consent and sent to the United States for testing. Jean simply wanted to dress her child in her christening dress for burial. It was not allowed to, nor was she told why. If her child was not to be christened in life, she felt it was only fair for her to allow her to be buried in her christening dress. She is quoted as saying, "No one asked about doing things like that, taking bits and pieces from her," end quote. There are no doubt thousands of other cases just like Jean's. And will these families ever learn the truth? How many parents have gone to their grave not knowing that their children were diced up, pieces of them sent across the world for testing? Will they ever get justice? A larger question is, if the government was doing things like this in the 1950s, what are they doing now? Are there other testing programs that are worse than this happening behind the scenes now? Considering the evidence of transparency and truth-telling from our government and the media that covers it, I have little to no confidence that we're being told the whole truth if denials of this activity, or any other nefarious activity for that matter, are forthcoming. We simply can't believe them. If we believe our government, that almost means by definition that we aren't paying attention. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, keep an open mind, question everything, and believe no one until it's proven to be true. Thank you for tuning in to The Bunker. Stay weird and question